Well, hello people. This is my very first video, kind of audio, so I just want to get some things off my chest in the hopes that someone will also listen. Maybe we have the same viewpoints. But anyhow, I was thinking about this, the state of our nation as of right now, the COVID-19, and our inability to travel, to work, to our livelihood has been well compromised, and our lack of funding is what bothers what is bothersome to me. Okay, when I read about the paycheck protection no longer have any kind of money, and the debt to China is just it's beyond comprehension. I mean, we could not afford to pay them back if we sold everybody to the highest bidder, all of our electronics, any food that we have, anything. There's nothing that we could possibly do to get out of debt, and that is one thing that I want to address. And I'm hoping, that, like I said, that someone like myself is willing to even, make our voices heard. Peaceful protests, one that will not end in looting or civil unrest, but a peaceful protest, because, our system of government is basically, I don't know, an anti-economy system. For one thing, things are built with poor materials, making sure that we as the consumers buy more and more and more and more. In a sense, that's not democracy, that's slavery. Those commercials that say, they give us the illusion that you need this brand, you need to spend on this, this, and this, when in essence it's mostly it's to pacify you, if keep you entertained. Okay, so that so the elite of this country and the big corporations, they benefit off of our earth. They're taking critical resources. Okay, not to mention, look at where we're at as far as financially. Now, I believe if we're in one of the freest nations, and that being said, I mean, it's always professed that it is a democracy. Well, that being also said, I think as people, we make up the nation, and we have the right to speak out. I personally want to speak out about this debt. That debt, when our president signs over $713 billion to bail out some big corporation, that's BS. What about us? When those of us within our borders are over here homeless, lacking in health care, education. Hell, even with this COVID-19, they were saying that they didn't even have enough testing kits. And now, and once they come up with a resolve and a cure, I guarantee they're not going to have enough to pass around. So, it's just, for instance, these riots that we've had lately, I believe that most of our civil unrest is not even about black and white. It's about just misguided anger. We're angry, because we see the inequality in our nation. The laws that apply to you and I don't apply to them. So I ask you to stand with me and stand firm. Let us make our voices heard. Let's start protesting. We need to start organizing protests, simply because why wait until it's too late? Make our government act. Number one, with the COVID-19, most of us are out of work. And as far as I'm concerned, and as far as I read, the Federal Reserve, in order to give us that so-called stimulus or the unemployment, is only going to be around for so long. It's going to run out of money in about 5 or 6 weeks, if not sooner. Paycheck protection is already out of money. So now what? In the meantime, we have all of these trinkets and gadgets and all of these unnecessary electronics sitting in landfills, okay? They're not being reused, they're not being, resold. However, they're killing people. They're causing in our ecosystem, massive damage. We're taking everything that we need to sustain us and throwing it all away. I'm urging you to stand with me, just like they did back in the 60s for the civil rights. It only took a few people, those few people turned into hundreds, for us to walk peaceably, make our voices heard. If we are in one of the freest nations, we are democracy. The democracy is power to the people. Our leaders, our governments, our presidents, they're public servants. They are put there by public opinion. They need to be held accountable for these things. That, for instance, when you and I, the regular Joe, we should get a business perhaps, and for whatever reason it fails miserably, or we're not making, however it is, our business is forced to close or whatever, we default on a loan. I don't believe that any of these big profiteers, or let alone our president or any heads of state, come and knock on our door and offer us a bailout at the taxpayer's expense. So, this inequality needs to stop as well, okay? Because when our economy collapses, people, I guarantee that Trump and his family won't be suffering. Those in Congress, they're not going to be suffering. Wall Street, they're not going to be suffering. We are. And then what comes next? It'll be martial law. Martial law will be implemented due to civil unrest. When that dollar that you have in your wallet doesn't mean anything when you go to the grocery store to feed your family, and you come home to see that eviction notice on your door, none of that shit's going to matter. Okay? We're looking towards civil unrest. Okay? I personally don't want to live in a war-torn country. I don't want to live in anything like that. So if we can stop things before they begin to unravel, I suggest we do so now. In the Bible, it states that all of these things will come to pass in the last days. And the Word of God has become more and more prevalent. When he says that, people would become lovers of themselves, of money, thinking they would be actually knowing no natural affection. And what do you see in there's just a decline in society as a whole. Kids are raising themselves, or South Park is. So we need to take time, man. Pray, open your eyes to what is right in front of you. Something big is headed our way, and I seriously doubt it's going to be nice. And I just don't want to stand by and allow it to happen. Okay? I'm just trying to motivate others to speak out with me. We are the nation. We have that power. We're not just voiceless people. We're made to feel that way. But even God himself says, pray for your nation. It was the story of Daniel in the Bible, showed how one person, in fasting and praying could make a difference. Story of Esther, the same thing. We are looking at a global collapse, okay? An economic collapse where there's, our money's not going to mean anything. That's going to cause some real problems in our nation, okay? When there's no more food available. Okay, most of us are not sharecroppers. We don't have our own tomatoes and things like that for sustainability. Most of us, our homes are on electricity. We don't have solar panels. So all of these things are going to be, they're worrying me, okay? Because it only takes a matter of time before, once the money runs out, okay, the little stimulus checks or whatever, once that runs out, and it will be soon, then what? You know, and I'm upset because I personally, I did not agree, nor did I make a debt of 700 and some billion dollars. Okay, that company should have bit the bullet on that. You know, that's your bad. Has nothing to do with me. In the meantime, I mean, that's all for now. Bye.